everyone, and welcome to one Memorial Day special episode of Fangirlz Assemble. How are you doing, Maddie?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm really tired. I was at MomoCon in Atlanta, Georgia all weekend. And so I spent all day today like recuperating and editing photos.
How
But
did you have fun?
yeah, I had a great time. I cosplayed, I took photos. It was nice. I got to see Kyle Starks, who we interviewed
Yeah.
forever ago. So it was cool to see him. Yeah, I had a good time. It's a nice con, so I really
Hmm.
enjoyed it. What
And
about
what
you?
were you cosplaying as?
What did I wear? Oh yeah, I cosplayed from the anime slash manga One Piece. There's a huge One Piece
Hmm.
fan group down there. So I meet up with all of them. That's kind of like my coming home sort of thing. It feels like a big family reunion for all of us that like hang out.
Right, Momocon sounds more like an anime manga plus cosplay related, it
Yeah,
feels like.
it's very all ages. It's very multi fandom. You don't see as much comic book stuff there, but you will see it, you
Hmm.
know. But definitely not the same as far as guests. But what's
Right.
great is that there's always stuff to do. Like comic conventions, you're there in the vendors hall all day for like 4 days. Like that's the purpose, basically. And there's some fan events and you see celebrities, but this kind of con, like there's events all weekend you can go to, like really cool panels. I always go to the Disney singing competition. I always watch that.
Really?
They audition months ahead of time. It is a riot. It's so much fun.
Oh, so you don't
Um,
participate, you just go.
no. And then they had the entire cast of Steven Universe there
Oh,
to do
nice.
some panels, and that was really neat. But the coolest thing, though, which I love about MomoCon, is that like it's one of the most diverse conventions I go to.
Mm.
Like I feel like a good, and I think maybe it's because it's in Atlanta, but I feel like 50% of people that are black, which is really cool. It's not just like attendees, but you see that like cosplay competition judging. The majority of the judges were black too, which you never see at other conventions, which
Mhm.
can create problems because you don't have a diverse group judging your contestants. And it's just really it's neat. It's just they're like I've just had like the nicest time. Everyone I shot with was really cool. Like I love that convention so much, and it's so cool. And the partying after hours is great too because everyone's just drinking, hanging out outside in the courtyard
So do you go
until
every
like
year?
4 in the morning. Huh?
You go every year.
I used to, and then I took a couple years off. I threw out my back one year, day of, and I couldn't go because I'm an old person. But I used to go every year. I used to go with my sister and my niece because it's very all ages. I mean, there's
Mhm.
partying at nighttime, but for the rest of the day, it's open. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna go start going back again every year. It's just
Nice.
nice. I recommend it. It's a nice like comic conventions. Are great to go meet creators and get your stuff signed and find good deals on comic books. But I feel like if you really just want to hang out and really meet people, cons like this, like MomoCon, are the best kind of con to go to. Because if
Right.
I got to hang out with you at C2E2, but that's because I knew you ahead of time. If I had just gone, I wouldn't have known or met anybody.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, C2E2 or New York Comic Con, like those are more like you go with a group
Yeah,
and then you have specific targets. Like, oh, I'm going to go meet these creators and
yeah.
that's what I'm gonna do. And then deals are based on what you are looking for and stuff. So yeah, I completely understand. I mean, yeah, I think like, next year if you're going, let me know. I may
Yeah,
actually
come check
just
it out. The only
show up.
downside is that it is unbearably hot outside.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, Atlanta. I mean,
but
Atlanta.
that's it. Everything else is really good. And the food's great. It's just
Yeah.
really fucking hot.
So, before we get started, I see that you have some books behind you, Maddie.
I I do. I have a lot of books.
Where do
And
you buy them?
instocktrades.com. It's the only place to go. Okay, listen. You can get all of your books up to 42% off, sometimes 50 if there's a deal going on. Um, and if you buy at least $50 worth, you get free shipping within the United States. And this is like the best shipping ever. No matter what, even if my package is left on the door all day, like if it's raining, if there's like a thunderstorm, anything, I'm sure if I open that box, the way it's padded all in there, it's just perfect. So
And
good.
not
And
to
I just got in, I don't know if you ordered them too, my 3 hardcovers of Nailbiter came
Ooh, yes. I
right
remember
before I
you got
left.
bullied into buying them. That was a thing that happened.
Yeah, thanks, Raph. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got that, and then I picked up that Catwoman
Ooh, yes.
trade.
Yes.
So
Let's read that and for the show and talk about it.
I'm super down because
By the
Joelle
way,
Jones
did you
art.
know that Joella Jones, she left after 13, issue 13? That's the thing that
What?
happened. Yes.
No.
Okay, no. Here, let me clarify that. Issue 14 has a different writer.
Okay.
So I don't know issue 15 what's going on.
Okay, we'll have to see because sometimes they do that for like every once in a while to give the artist and writer a break. I feel like
Yeah,
for like a one shot story.
yeah. But the thing is, like, I know that your rap have gotten Tom King off Batman.
It's
That's the
all
thing.
my fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he annoyed you with Heroes in Crisis,
God.
and you just like wished it, and he was taken off.
And I have mixed feelings about that too because there's some choices he's made recently that I didn't care for. But I also feel weird about a writer being taken off like before he's finished his story.
Well, no, I mean he gets to finish it, but it's just gonna be Batman and Catwoman, and then so
Yeah, I
because the
don't know.
idea initially was that he's supposed to be doing it 100 issues,
Yeah,
and he's gonna be off at 15 to 85, and then he's gonna be doing that miniseries, which is probably 12 issues. So in a way, but one thing we learned over here: do not fuck with Maddie. She
don't
will.
listen.
Yeah, like ha.
I'll get you, Tom King. Just kidding.
So in terms of like coming up next week, I mean DC and Batman, man, DC, come on, you can do not publish Batman for a
It,
week and you'd
no,
be okay.
they literally
Like,
don't know how.
they just can't stop. So shit that are coming out in terms of Batman Hush, DC Essential Edition. I don't even know what that means. Batman the Max, Arkham Dreams, Batman Year One. Year One is pretty good. So all of these things are coming out, but I don't know if there's anything interesting coming out next week for you. Like, is there something that you've been looking forward to coming out next week?
I don't know. Like, I wonder if I should pick up this hack slash omnibus. I thought about reading that.
Oh
Um,
my god. Oh wait, Saga's coming out. What the hell? How did I forget
Saga.
that?
Oh yeah,
Saga
I've
Volume
heard
3
of it.
is coming out next week. So, that is 100% must read. And this is also has the issue 54 in it. Because
I'm excited to finally catch up because I
yeah,
don't
I'm
have it.
I'm really looking forward to talking to people about this because I have thoughts, So yeah, so go to instructrades.com for all your collected edition needs. So speaking of thoughts, we're gonna be talking about Game of Thrones today, and thoughts. We have thoughts about
That's a
that.
little bit different, but because you know, Kristen's busy and Free and I've been dying to talk about it as well. So we were like, well, this is good timing, now that the
Yeah.
show's over.
Because Kristen does not care for this show. She's like, I don't care for this. I'm not gonna watch this. You guys do you.
Yeah,
So
which is
that's So anyway, so let's kind of we all have thoughts about this. There's a lot of debates going on and everything. I thought that I wanted to start with the thing like how did you start it with the Game of Thrones? Like were you there from the beginning or you kind of picked up along the way?
I think I started about 3 seasons in, and it was one of
Okay.
those shows that I like kept trying to start and get into at the beginning and didn't for the
Mm.
first few tries, and then finally it hit, and I just marathoned all of it with friends. And then, like religiously watched it every Sunday when it came out. Um,
And did you read the book by any chance?
no,
Okay. Planning on it?
I think I probably will eventually. It's not, I don't have enough time to read that right now.
These are
I,
some thick books.
I could see myself picking it up from the beginning whenever the new one comes out. Whenever, if, or like if.
Yeah.
I think part of me not wanting to pick it up is just it takes so long to come out. And I'm like, well, what if it never finishes? So
Well,
is it worth getting into if it never finishes?
yeah. So I actually started because my sister got me into it, which is a big deal for me because my sister's not into any of this, like, geek culture or nerd culture or anything. But she's like, this is a show, you gotta see it. And I'm like, okay. And then she also read all the books religiously, which is also a big deal because she doesn't read books. The only other book she read was Hunger Games and this. I don't know, Harry Potter.
Wow.
Yeah, that's her whole dumb. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'm gonna watch this because she's telling me. Then I watched the first season, marathon the first season. Then I was like, oh my god, I need more because there was no second season at that time. Then I kind of went and got all the books and finished them within like a week. Like I just consumed, like, I think that at that time there was 4 books, or no, 5 or 6, I don't know, whatever it was. I went and read all of them, and then I was just so prepared. And then, I became one of those. Even though I read the book after the first season, I'm like, oh my god, in the book, I became one of those people.
It's so hard not to. I remember even reading what happened on like Wikipedia to get ready. Just like prepping myself.
Uh-huh.
And for like 2 whole seasons, I was just like, Lady Stoneheart's gonna show up, you guys. Listen,
Right?
she's gonna be here like next episode. I promise you. This is what's
Right.
gonna happen. And now, it's over and it never happened.
It never happened. And the thing is, like, I mean, so we're gonna be spoiling this shit. So I mean, there's no way of talking about this without spoiling it. You agree? Like,
yeah, no, I think because primarily we'll focus on like this past season.
right.
So if you haven't seen it and you care, I would dip out. But if you don't care, or if you have seen it and you want to hang out, then just stick with it.
And if you have never seen an episode, like, I don't know.
I'd still recommend watching it. I am. I want to.
Depends on though, because I feel like it depends on the type of personality you have. Like, are you the kind of person who cares about the journey, or are you the person who's like the destination matters? Don't you think?
Well, that's hard too because I'm very much an ending person, typically. But with such a long series like this, I really had to. Well, maybe that's just for my own mental health. I was just like, okay, no, I really have to appreciate everything we went through and all the amazing things, and I can just pretend like this season, part of it was just a bad fan fiction that just went way too fast.
It was a terrible fan fiction, Maddie, like terrible. But no, I mean the thing is, like, I kind of started. I had a very love-hate relationship with this show because I really love the idea of the lore and everything that they have presented and stuff, and the journey, like some of the characters and their journey, like. But the thing is, like, from season 1, I was kind of screaming at them by their treatment of women because in the book, Dany was the one who was like very weird from get-go. Like, she is a little bit, you can tell that she's a psychopath, like she's a sociopath, like, because a lot of things doesn't affect her. She's very much like, driving a lot of things. You can tell from the beginning, like, she's manipulating Khal Drogo from get-go. I mean, there was none of this, like, first episode there was like, oh, she was raped by Khal Drogo. That none of that was there. So you were like, okay, she's a bit weird. But the show kind of does something different. And I'm like, okay, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to be going with this. Then in season 5, the whole shit with Sansa happened. And I just flat out stopped. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be watching this. Then in season 7, like the whole thing that Sansa's now all of a sudden a dark Sansa. And I'm like, ooh, tell me more about this. Then I went back to it and actually rewatched everything. And then season 8.
Yeah.
I don't know. What was your journey like? Like, were you kind of always up and up with it? Like, what was it like for you?
Oh, I always really enjoyed it. I mean, like, I never had a bad time until this season. Like, this whole time, I really enjoyed it. I had my problems with it, of course. And I still really love the show. I think there's some things that they should have thought of and did differently. But I also think that, like, throughout the show, it's created a lot of conversations for media in general about how we should do things better. The Sansa rape scene, for one, like, I feel like really sparked a huge conversation about like the outrage and everything with that. Like, really brought to everyone's mind like how we should really start thinking about this and not do this, like how that was not needed. Like, and the lack of minority women in this, because you always hear this, or not just minority women, of course, but just minorities in general, because you always hear well, it's not historically accurate. People always say that, and I'm like, this is a fantasy world. I don't care. This is fantasy. You can shut up. But I honestly, in general, I really, really love this show. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't until this season, and not even the whole part of this season. I was handling it okay. I loved the Battle of Winterfell. I loved the Battle of Winterfell. Like I loved all of that. And then it's just after that, I was like, what are you doing? What is this?
No, I'm actually kind of looking forward to like D&D, as they're called, the showrunners, are going to be now taken off from Star Wars because they pissed you off. Because as we have established at the beginning of the show, it happens. People piss you off and they're never to be heard back from again.
Like, I felt like because I understand that like this show basically ended the way that George R.R. Martin wanted. Like, okay, that's fine. Like it reached the same conclusions that he wanted, but everything was way rushed, and I do feel like some character development was just thrown out the window. They were just like, it never happened. Like my biggest problem was Jaime.
Oh my god!
Because I felt like
what was his purpose?
I don't know. I went on this ride with him this whole time, this redemption arc of his, where he started out this man who cared about nothing, right? The man who pushed Bran out a window.
Kingslayer! Like, it was like, predicted from moment one. I mean, my god.
Yeah. And, not caring about people. But then, as we went on, we learned that he does care about people, and that there is a huge disconnect between him and Cersei, and that even though he loves her, like, he has morals, and, he has something else in his heart, right? And then we get to where he gets with Brienne. He's fought the Battle of Winterfell. It's beautiful, right? We get this moment with them. I'm like, okay, I shipped them. I was pretty excited. And then he leaves, and this scene irked me so bad because he left to go be with Cersei. And I was like, no. If you want him to leave and go back to Cersei so he can be there to kill her or be with her at the end, fine, but do it because he's the only one who can get close to her, and have him kill her. How dare you take that moment from me that I've been waiting for and that was prophesized, and give me this?
So
give me this.
I have been Team Cersei from beginning. Like, I love Cersei. Like,
what do they do with that homegirl this season? God.
So the thing is, like, because I love Lena Headey from Terminator. Like, where she was Sarah Connor. So I love her from that. And when, like, my sister's like, oh, yeah, like, she's in it. I know you like her. I was like, whoa, tell me more. So that's one of the reasons, like, I started kind of watching this. And I was Team Cersei, like, through and through. Like, she's evil. And I'm like, yes. Like, give me those evil ladies. I always talk about this, that, I want women to be portrayed as diverse things. And the thing is, like, she's just evil. Like, the thing is, like, she's
evil in the best way.
Yeah, like, there is no sad story. Like, she tells you that there's a sad story, but there isn't.
But there's not. She's not redeemable at all. It's great.
So I'm like, throughout, I'm like, yeah, Cersei. But the thing is, still I was Team Cersei, but still I wanted Cersei to die a gruesome death. Because in a series that is like filled with gruesome death, good people having like the most gruesome death possible, Cersei died in the arms of her lover by rocks.
Ugh, and the whole, I don't want to die. And I was like, first of all, okay, Cersei Lannister would never just hang out in a castle and assume everything is going to go fine. She would have already been somewhere else. She would have like staged this and left. And she like, if it works out, I'll come back. If not, I'll leave. She would have just stayed in King's Landing. Are you kidding me? You think she wasn't prepared? She's always 10 steps ahead
of everyone.
Never let herself die there. I was like, whatever.
That was the most. And the thing is, like, I wanted my other girl, Arya, to get that.
Yeah.
Get her.
How dare... Ooh, and the other thing, I was like, okay, because Jamie was going there. I was like, okay, fine. Well, maybe Arya will do the face trick again because
Right.
it's fair for her to do it again and let her kill Cersei. And it would have made so many people mad because they'd be like, oh, well, she killed the Night King and now she's going to kill Cersei. And I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. Let her be a Mary Sue. Every other man gets to be a Mary Sue. Let Arya kill both of them. I'd have been fine.
I mean, let Arya kill Jamie and then Cersei, because her face doesn't, like, she has to literally take the face, right? Like, you know, and I, honest to God, I was telling my sister, I'm like, that's what's gonna happen. Like, this is what's happening. What is the other purpose serves for Jamie to be there? Either he kill her, like, you know, he kills her by saying that, oh, no, I'm gonna make it humane, you know, because, or else they're gonna just destroy her. I'm gonna make it humane. Or Arya's also going there, which means that's gonna happen. But no, Arya had a very sweet moment with Sandor. That was the sweetest thing ever. And then nothing. Like, what was the point of her getting on the horse? And then she was just showing up like, oh, where did you come from?
This whole season's been tantamount basically to prove that D&D, like, they just filled the show with wasted space. You know, you make each of these episodes an hour and a half. There better be content that's worth it. There better be interactions between characters that are meaningful and drive the story, you know, and they didn't do that. Like, it was beautiful. The cinematography is beautiful. I can't disagree with that. You know, seeing the atrocities in the city, seeing Arya walk through, they were beautifully filmed. Did they really serve a purpose in the long run in this episode? No. Also, I really felt like, even though it was, I know that everyone's been hyped for the Hound and the Mountain to fight, it didn't fill me with anything. It felt like a waste of time. It felt like it came out of nowhere. Like, and why would the Mountain all of a sudden not protect his queen? That doesn't make any sense. Like, the way that he's been...
No, but the thing is, how does he remember him? Because the point was that he's now done. You know, he's a zombie. Because that was the equivalent of America's ass scene in Endgame. Like, but the thing is, that one felt earned. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you that. This one was like, what? Why? Why do I care?
Yeah, it was that fan service, but not done well.
Yeah.
They were like, well, we're gonna wrap this up. I know people want this. So if we're not going to give him this other stuff, we can at least give him this fight. But then the fight felt stupid, and it didn't feel cool. Nobody felt cool in the fight. It was just like, okay, this is just sad.
Like two old people fighting.
Yeah, you know, the Hound went through a lot. And to have him, you know, after all that stuff he went through, and all that, like, self-searching, right? You know, he could have gone and lived a different life, and then for him to still be driven by vengeance, number one, makes no sense. Why would you do that?
Like, no, I mean, because what he's telling Arya is like, don't be like me. So I'm like, okay,
and I get it.
Understand what you are me. So then why are you still there? Like, I don't know. I just like, I don't know. And then, okay, so then moving on from them, Tyrion and Varys. Like, why have they all of a sudden become the dumbest persons in the world?
I know. And then the conversation, I've watched a lot of videos on this since it ended. You know, the conversations that they have between each other, they just feel, a lot of them felt very flat and felt very out of character. Like, you're telling me Varys can't get the word out and still not get caught? I like him being emotionally invested. I don't mind that. I don't mind the two of them loving Dany, because they did, you know, mean something. She meant something to them. That's fine. But you're telling me Varys can't, like, talk about this and not die?
And here's the thing, though. What purpose did it serve that Varys died? Like,
No.
what was the purpose of that? Like, I just didn't understand that. Like, okay, if Varys was alive and he was imprisoned, the same exact shit in King's Landing would have happened. Yeah. First of all, Varys would never get imprisoned, because Varys is the kind of slithering snake. Like, you know, as soon as, like, he talked with Jon and Jon didn't accept, he would be running out of there. He'd be like, oh, no, I'm done.
And I would have preferred that. I think it would have made more sense to me if he was like, you could still have a big emotional speech, you know, about him saying that, like, this is all going down, and he could have left. He could have gone to the north. He could have gone someplace else and just thought, you know, this is all I can do right now.
but I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, or he comes back after the thing is like, told you so, like, you know, or something like that. I don't know. Like, and the thing is, like, the whole thing with Euron, where he's like super perfect bullseye for dragon in one episode, but next episode, oh my god, no one can get a line in for that dragon. Like,
it's so stupid. What a waste.
And then it was like, and also, like, you know, not to mention that both the Battle of Winterfell and the other King's Battle, it was like every side won, the right side won because reasons. Like, they were being mobbed. The whole floor was being mobbed by the death. Like, the death had better strategy. But no, Arya happened. Because I was thinking that I have no problem with Arya killing the Night King. That's fine. But it needed to be earned. It wasn't like it wasn't like, oh, everyone was fighting there, they were being cornered, and then Arya came out of nowhere. It didn't.
See, I actually liked that whole scene. I don't have any problems with that whole battle, really. I really enjoyed it.
And no, and the thing is, like, you know, this is kind of like, so I have a 20-point grievances that I want to fly and, you know, talk about. And one of them was like, how many Dothraki and Unsullied are out there?
Because no, that was dumb as hell. Okay, because all the basically what we're led to believe in the Battle of Winterfell, right, is that every one of the Dothraki ran forward to go fight the dead, and like maybe 5 dudes came back, right? And then fast forward to the final episode, and they're all there. Did you shoot this first? Was there no communication? It's like a bad comics event where something happened in a side story and no one told the main story.
And the thing is, I'm like, so one line of like, hey, we have people set aside, you know, they're not going to be part of this because we don't know how much, whether we're going to survive or not, would have sufficed. Like, because that's something, so this is something I was telling my sister. I'm like, I have no problem when, as I'm watching the movie, I'm being completely duped, even by there's like a giant plot holes in that. For example, Endgame. Like, you know, like, you don't think about it as you're watching it, right? You think about it like, wait a minute, what is it? Like, you know, but while I am watching Game of Thrones, I am screaming at the screen, like, hey, what are you doing? You know, and not to mention those Dothrakis are just hanging out in King's Landing afterwards. Like, they're just there. Now this is it. So that kind of brings us to like Unsullied and their whole journey. What was that about? Like, like they were there like, oh my god, you killed our queen. We're just gonna go back to the beach. Like, you know.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
And I was really upset they killed. I always forget how to pronounce her name.
Sunday.
Her death.
The hairdresser just died.
Her death made me unhappy. Like, I don't know. First of all, when did they get her, but not anybody else? That was weird. 2, let her jump off, at least. If you're going to do this scene, let her have one bit of agency for her own life and herself, and let her jump off of there instead of...
Right?
I was like, she's been enslaved her entire life except for with Dany. You think at this moment she's not going to take matters into her own hands? She's just going to wait around? No.
Like, I was thinking, because I was seriously, I'm like, jump, bitch, jump.
Yeah.
Jump. Because I thought that that's what it's going to be. Because here's the thing, like, you know, it was very, very insulting. First of all, Game of Thrones and people of color, we do not come together, you know. But the only way we can reconcile it just by saying, like, this is a white people bullshit, let them have it. Like, you know, like, that's the only way to reconcile this. Mm-hmm. Then you have this one character of color, one of 2 characters of color. And she was a slave. She was liberated, and she died in chains. She was murdered in chains. Like, she was decapitated in chains. Just to move white ladies' journey forward. Like, I mean, that is so piss poor. That's piss poor. I mean, that was not cool. Like, you know, and the thing is, and I'm like, okay, fine. Even then, fine. Let's okay. We're gonna do this. Okay, whatever.
Oh, so sorry to interrupt. In the chat, Freddie and Philip are talking about at the end when Grey Worm brings Tyrion out to this council of all these people, and Tyrion gets to decide who's king, and everyone just listens to him, the prisoner, and he's just letting him talk. He's your prisoner, dude, and you're just like, we'll let Tyrion decide.
We'll let Tyrion talk. I mean, because I, a black man, should know my place in Westeros and just shut the fuck up, because that's literally what happened. And the thing is, like, so my thing is, like, everything that we know about this Unsullied and this Dothrakis, they are like super violent people. Like, they're violent. Violence is part of their their thing. They did not torch entire King's Landing after death of Dany. Like, they didn't take Davos as a prisoner. They didn't instantly kill Jon, Tyrion, and Davos for conspiring, because as far as they're concerned, you guys are evil. Like, right?
Yeah, that is really odd. Because really, if this was regular Dothraki culture, they would just be like, well, we're already here. Let's murder all of you, and then we'll take this for us then.
This is our zone now. We're gonna do this. Because they're unruly, really uncivilized, colored people. Like, that's like
I could see the Unsullied just like, okay, fine, we're just gonna go back. That's already our kingdom.
Right.
That makes sense. But the Dothraki, I'm surprised of.
Like, and the thing is, then I was also thinking, I'm like, who sent the crows to bring all these lords and ladies there? Who did? Grey Worm? Like, did there, right?
I don't know. Oh, and also, okay, did Jon just stay there and pout over the dragon until, or pout over this pool of blood until somebody came up and asked him what's wrong? Because
there is like a million memes out there.
Literally, who's gonna know? Who would know? Nobody. You could just been like, I don't know. She left. Maybe she'll come back later. And you could have just dipped out. Do they have DNA testing to test the blood and tell it's Dany's? No.
No, because that's the sole purpose of Jon's existence. Like, his existence, like, he did not matter at the end. He did not matter. Like, nothing about him mattered. His parentage didn't matter. Him breathing didn't matter. His existence didn't matter. The only reason everything about his fealty and his honesty is because to get him into the jail. Because he's the only dum-dum who would go up to the General of Unsullied, who was like an angry motherfucker, and then say like, yo, so I kind of stabbed Dany, and the dragon just flew away with the body.
Man, like, all this build-up about him being a Targaryen.
What was the point?
What was the point? Like, at this point, they could have at least done something with, like, him and Drogon, right? Or, I didn't really want him to have the throne, but, I mean, it would have been fine. At least it would have made sense at that point. It was like, hey, I killed her, and, like, dragons like me because I'm a Targaryen. Or he could have, like, the dragon could have breathed flame to him. Maybe nothing would have happened. I don't know.
I'm so
and they would have been like, well, here it is. I guess I'm the rightful person now.
So have you seen this meme? Like, so it's like, this from this second episode or whatever. I don't know.
You find the body to say the fucking word.
Because that's literally what happened. I'm gonna say the fucking word. Then there's also 1,000 other memes where it's like, so like Grey Worm and Jon, and he's like, so the dragon just smooshed her and just flew away, and Dany's body is underneath the.
Man, I mean, he could have said anything. And now he's going to Castle Black for no reason. Well, I guess he's leaving and going to help the free people. Great, cool, whatever. But, like, who was going to know? Listen, I watch a lot of murder podcasts, Jon. You were good.
But also, here's the thing. Now that the Dothraki, like, Unsullied flew, like, sailed away, why does he need to go? Are they going to come back? Who's going to tell them?
I don't know.
And the thing is, like, and also, why the fuck there is a Night's Watch?
There's no reason.
There's a giant hole in the wall.
It's just like, they just want to send their criminals there. Like, oh, I guess we don't want to kill them. We'll send them to the Watch. To help you from the free people? They're good. They get to go home. They're fine.
Also, here's the thing. Why are you sending, because doesn't like, that wall now belongs to Sansa? Because they secede.
Oh yeah, you're right. So they don't have control over that.
So Sansa will be like, wait, what? No, you're not prisoner through my kingdom. Get the fuck out of here. Like, what? I mean, I like everything to do with John. Nothing about it. Like, what was the point of him coming back from death? Like, what?
Nothing. Nothing. To kill Dany, I guess. I don't know.
Why couldn't Tyrion kill her? Like, why couldn't, like, why couldn't, like, I don't know, like, anyone, like, I don't know, what was John's point?
I don't know. It's just a whole ass mess. All of this.
So that brings us to, like, we can talk about Sansa next. I feel like that girl did well. My girl Sansa did well.
Good job, Sansa. Listen, she was a badass this entire season, except for the time that she was underground. Arya gave her a knife, but she never used it. But I'm just not going to worry about it because she was like, "Here's this knife. You need to use it." I thought it was going to be this big fucking deal, but then it wasn't. She didn't do anything. But anyways, the rest of the season, she was great. I loved during that like council of people where she was just like, "No, sit down."
Sit down. That was like the best moment ever.
And then she's just like, "No, listen, I don't care about these kingdoms. The North should be by itself anyways. Deuces. I'm gonna get a whole new bomb-ass outfit and like live my life."
And then get out of here. Like,
she deserves everything.
Like, she was A+, and someone actually mentioned in the chat, like, she's like a Sansa Cersei light. I'm like, yes! She needs to become, because Cersei was her mentor. Like, she was literally like, she literally learned from Cersei. Like, I'm like, yes, be that, my pretty, be that. But the thing is, like, what really pissed me off, because, I usually never put up like, Facebook statuses, but I had to talk about this. A story of a woman being raped, overcoming that, and becoming the badass leader that she is, and then another late woman who became a faceless assassin was lesser story than a guy who's now sitting in a wheelchair, because that was a thing that happened. God, in this story. Man. What was that about?
Like, logistically, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see, where the benefit comes from and his knowledge and stuff, and how, with the start of him, he won't have kids, blah, blah, blah. But Bran was creepy as hell this entire season. Oh, every time he'd show up, the way that he was framed, I couldn't help but laugh, because he was just like, okay, Bran, fuck, where'd you come from? Just like, damn. I was saying the last thing where he was like, I don't want anymore. And then he was like, Tyrion's like, hey, do you want to be king? And he's like, yeah, why the hell do you think I came here? I was like, what is this?
Like, seriously, the character who's finally going to be sitting in this throne that we've been talking about all this time did not show up for 2 seasons. Talk about subverting expectation. Because if that's not it, I don't know what is. Because I was like, what? Brad? Because when he was giving all this speech, I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna make Sansa the queen. Oh my god. And then I was like, oh,
Brad's broken.
My face melted. My face melted. Like, I was so sure that he's gonna say Sansa, and then Sansa's like, no, I'm gonna just take the North and I'm gonna get out of here. Here's Brad. Talk to him. I was so sure that something like that's gonna happen.
Oh, God.
And then the whole cringy as hell, like, Sam saying that democracy. What is it?
Memes about this. Freddie was talking about how he was dragged by Mira Reed to the North.
Oh my god!
All of this stuff about him being dragged places by basically
other women. I forgot about that.
On the backs of all these other people who did all this shit for him and died.
And Hodor! Did we mention Hodor? Like, oh my god. Like, and then the whole cringy thing about Sam saying, democracy, settle down, sit down. Okay, I'm sitting. Like, what? What was the point of that? And the whole thing was happening about Grey Worm was like, okay, choose well, choose wisely. To a prisoner, to his prisoner. How are they invited to the King's Landing to begin with? I need answer for that, because who wrote the crows? Who sent the crows? Why was Davos not already in prison? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. And also, like, something I just thought about, with the Unsullied going back to their country, couldn't they just been like, hey, John, go to the Watch for like a little bit and then just come back? Because what are they gonna do? Come back?
Exactly. That's exactly my point. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, are they gonna come back just because of this one person? Also, that leads me to my next question. where the fuck is my man Dario? Does he know that his lady was killed in King's Landing?
Whatever
Remember
happened to
Dar-
him?
remember Dar-
That handsome guy, right?
yeah, the handsome guy. Remember how he was left in Marine? He was left in Marine as the head of the state or something. So what happens to those landing kingdom? So do the slavers just come back because fuck, the dragon lady's gone?
I don't know. I honestly forgot about him.
See, so did D&D. You forgot, so did D&D.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like, so are the slavers gonna come back? Because the dragon lady's gone.
Probably, yeah. I mean,
so poor people of color in this show cannot catch a break. Or unless the Unsullieds are gonna go back, because Unsullieds are not gonna say that, oh, we're gonna go back to keep the legacy of Dany. What she's like, no, I'm a man in love. I'm gonna go to the beach that my girl talked about once. I'm gonna go back there. I hope they're just taking a vacation and then they go back to Marine. Like, I hope something like that. For the sake of those people.
They're owed a vacation after all this bullshit, honestly. Because when during the Battle of Winterfell, when like all the Dothraki died, quote unquote, I couldn't help but sit there and think, you went through so much effort to bring all these people here, and then you use them as their fodder. That was your front line people, and you just die.
And guess what? My friend was texting me like, "Oh, white people,
for
people of color are the first. Like, they're the Marines. Like, look at that." And I'm like, "Okay, calm down." Then after the episode, I'm like, "Oh my god, you're so right."
Oh Lord.
And then also, so White Walkers, like, they're supposed to be like the biggest threat this land has ever seen. And
it was just like, okay. And then how do you go from defeating all these White Walkers to, like, we already talked about it, but still, to like flying over to King's Landing and getting your dragon killed by really poorly made harpoons from ships that they can still somehow move quick enough to get your dragon? There's no way. They don't work like this.
I mean, and the thing is, like, it was just like, and it wasn't even like, oh, they shot like at least 2 and 3 and one of them got there. No, the first one, the one that was shot, just got there. One. And the thing is that someone actually put it on Twitter, is that, what was the dumb point of having dragons if you're not going to go fly over first and then see what's waiting for you ahead of there?
Yeah, and always fly behind the ships. Why would you ever fly in front of them?
Or send it, do a recon, do like, the side way and then come in, because apparently Dany knows how to do that because she done that with the Golden Company. She attacked them from behind. Why you haven't done that in the other episode?
As somebody who majored into like diplomacy and security studies, let me just tell you that this whole season's a fucking wreck. None of this works. This is the worst use of statecraft I've ever seen.
It's so bad. Okay, so talk about Dany though. So did you feel throughout this series that something's not right with her?
Yeah, but okay, so a lot of people after this came out, right, were like, come on, guys. Obviously, she's always been this way. And I don't disagree that she's got some issues. What I do disagree with is that it happened so fast, because she honestly she's doing pretty okay, And then they were like, oh shit, we only have like 3 episodes left. Okay, so have some other people be talking around her and have her get really upset, and then next thing you know, she's burning down an entire village. It was way too fast to make her make that jump into this. I don't disagree that she's made some interesting decisions in the past, but they've always felt fair. They felt very extreme, but fair. It was like, hey, do this or I'm going to kill you. And then she went from being a do this or I'm going to kill you person to, I don't care what you do, I'm going to kill you.
So here's the thing. Was she ever in love with Jon? So I don't know whether it's because the 2 actors, their chemistry sucks. But I never bought into the fact that she ever loved Jon or that was ever a thing in her mind.
Oh, I think so. Especially since she went all the way to the above north of the wall to go get him. Yeah. I think their chemistry felt a little bit off this season, but I think it's from poor direction, because I felt like they were forced to make this move so much quicker, and it just made the relationship feel a little weird. And it felt really weird when it ended because it just felt, yeah, it just felt rushed, and the acting felt a little weird. Like the dialogue felt weird with this, and I don't know how to put it into words. But
So yeah, but I was always kind of like, oh, I was like, for me, like having read the books, I'm like, whoa, she's a little weird. Like, she's a sociopath, which I completely support. I always support lady sociopaths. Like, ladies being sociopath, A+, gets an A+ from me. So, and then end of the season 1, when she burned that other lady, because a rape victim, by the way, that because she couldn't save her husband and her child, and she just burned her. I'm like, oh, okay, good. This is like, we're getting somewhere, right? And then they tried to push her into this whole situation. And no. She is better than the other crazy lady we have there. And it was kind of, it always felt like, kind of they're trying to push her into a box. And I thought that, okay, maybe this is just the direction that they're taking, that, okay, no, she's going to have her journey to understand that, okay, no, everything that I was doing, I'm just doing it out of power. Like a learning moment, that I'm not necessarily doing it out of kindness. I'm just doing it out of like, my own interest.
yeah.
That never happened. So I'm like, okay, so maybe they're just trying to make sure that, okay, she's not actually going to be good. But no, it just kind of went there like a light switch.
Yeah, it felt like a light switch. And I I don't mind that this is where it ended up. I just wish we had had a lot more time to develop this correctly, because I like the reasoning behind it. I liked the way they talked about her saying that, she has this idea of utopia, right? But it's her way or the highway.
Utopia.
Yes, and she'll do anything she has to make this happen, and she's so hyper focused that it's become deadly, which means, eventually she'll become the same, dictator that she's always fought against.
Or like her father.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, but it was just way too rushed. And so by the time I got here, it didn't feel good. It didn't feel like, oh yeah, now she's doing it. It was just like, fuck. Like the bell rang and she went to go murder everyone, and I was like, this sucks. This sucks.
Can you imagine if Bells was the season 7 finale, and we had to wait 1.5 years and get this season where it's like all about, oh my god, Dragon Lady went mad, what are we gonna do?
See, that would have been pretty interesting, because
right?
I would have liked to see her maybe not just burn everything down. Well, even if she did, just like, how she'd rule King's Landing, and how that would react, and how they would have to figure out this person, this Messiah that they put into place, how they're going to deal with her.
Right.
Very interesting. And maybe it would have been kind of like a rehashing of previous stories, but I think she would have dealt with things differently than the religious people did. I don't think it'd be like that.
Or do something, or maybe let's not have the religious people business to begin with, because what purpose did that serve? Like, in the end of the thing, like if you think about it now, looking back,
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, actually, no, I take that back. Yeah. And now that I think about it again,
that was better than this.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Before we run out of time, we gotta make sure we talk about Brienne.
Oh yeah, talk about Brienne. Let's talk about Brienne.
Number 1, I love her. 2, the knighting scene.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I absolutely adored it. I did not mind her getting with Jaime. That was fine until Jaime left. And then I felt like people don't know how to write. My lady. I just, oh gosh. And all the memes that came out from her writing in that book were hilarious, though.
Oh my god.
But yeah, because, you had this big thing, and what would have made more sense at that point? Even though I understand Brienne feels a lot of, she doesn't care about herself as much. It's always about her serving other people, which I get. But it would have meant more to me if she had opened up that book and wrote about herself, like the start of her journey, of knighthood, this book of knights, right? And even if she was going to write about Jaime, I would want her to finish writing about her Jaime and then write about herself. But just her, like, you took her entire journey that made it just feel like it was about Jaime. I'm like, how dare you? And I love romance. I love shipping. I love all this. But how dare you make this just about him? after what you made him do.
Like,
oh, God.
That was so piss poor. That was so piss poor. And then she wrote like, "Oh, and he's died protecting his queen." And I'm like, "No, bitch, write that he's like an asshole, like like the weirdest, like all those meme things."
Yeah,
we're talking about, like write that. And what about Arya though? I kind of liked Arya's journey, even though
I
she
thought it
didn't.
was fine.
Even though she didn't get to kill Cersei, I was really hoping for that. Even Lena Headey was hoping for that. It was that bad because Lena Headey is the biggest Arya fan. Like,
I wanted more from her in these past couple episodes. There
was no point of her face swapping thing other than killing the face.
The whole way she walked through the town, and just like I understand the whole like connection with her and the Hound and that speech and everything. But I just felt like they took her strength away from her right when she just got it again. Because we already had the episode before in Winterfell, like, right before she went to go kill the Night King, where she got scared, where things got a little much for her. And I thought that was fine. But then I felt like they took all her strength away from her in this scene. She's been through some shit, and you're going to tell me she's just going to walk around scared while the King's Landing is burning? No.
Yeah, that wasn't like, I was so sure that she's gonna start fighting, she's gonna start killing, she's gonna do something.
Actually saving people.
Right.
Fighting both like Unsullied and Dothraki and Northerners alike just to protect women and other people. Like, but no. That's not what happened.
So people kind of had problem with her getting on with Gendry. I thought that was pretty cool.
I think it was fine. And honestly, like, some people have always seen her as asexual, and I think she still could be. Asexual people can be interested in sex one time. She's about to die. It's like, well, I already talked about this shit. I guess I'll try it. And then she's like, all right, I'm good. Like,
you look rather unsatisfied, but that's okay. Like, I'm just saying. I'm just saying the truth. But the thing is, like, no, people were like, oh my God, she was a sociopath. And she just reminded him of his, like, trauma and stuff. I'm like, in a show that strives on women's trauma, shut the fuck up. Like, and the thing is,
a sociopath. I think she's got.
Maybe, I don't know. Look, she's just disconnected from her emotion. That's all it is. She's completely disconnected. Like, there's nothing. Nothing goes in, nothing comes out. It's just a blank slate now. I really love the idea that she kind of went on a journey with, like, adventure with, like, a Stark banner and everything. Yeah. That was perfect. But I feel like she needed to do more. But anyway, so before we kind of wrap up, what's your thought on the idea that Game of Thrones supposedly is a subverting the fantasy genre? It's considered to be that. What's your thought on that? Does it? Because I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, read a book. I think we don't often see fantasy like this in film or other like visual media. But I gotta tell you, there's tons of stories similar in other books. Like, I don't think it's anything new. I just think that I think that this brought it back a lot. I think that thanks to Game of Thrones, people want to see more fantasy, and I think that's really great. I hope that continues because I love that. I always feel very fantasy deprived. I love stories with knights and dragons and everything else, but there's video games and manga and anime and all this kind of stuff that tell very similar complex storylines. I don't think this is like
revolutionary.
No.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, people say that, oh my God, it subverted reality. I'm like, whose reality? Because from women's point of view, it did nothing.
No. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, but no, please.
Like, bitch, please.
What's subverting the fantasy genre? Monstrous. Monstrous.
Oh, yes.
This is revolutionary. This is different. Game of Thrones, I love it, but like, let's be real.
Yeah,
okay.
That's like no. Because also, I would highly recommend Dragon Prince because that's like, their king is a black guy with, braids. Like, that's their king. Like, that's subverting. They have like that's like, oh, okay, I wasn't expecting that. That's that. There is ideas about people, like, arcs and stuff, that certain arcs that are done different, but I don't think, and nothing I've seen, I was like, oh my God, this moved us forward. As a matter of fact, it took ladies backwards like 1,000 years. Like, no. So before we get finished, I need to air my 20 grievance, because this is something that, I've been, because as I was like kind of thinking over it, I wrote this right after the show. I kind of added a little bit more things, but please hear me out. And then after this, we're going to sign off.
Okay. Go for it.
So we talked about some of this throughout. How many Dothrakis and Unsullied are out there? Because they're all here. So how many died in the Battle of Winterfell? Why are they so chill about Dany's murder, knowing what we know about their violent nature? Talked about it. Why is Dany speaking to them in one language? Because, the whole war thing that she gave, Dothraki and Unsullied speak different language. Why is she giving the speech in one language? And Dothrakis, are they even hearing it? Because they're in the background.
There's no microphones.
Yeah, there's no microphone. So what's happening? Do they care? Anyway, if Jon and Tyrion are prisoners, who sent those ravens to get the other lords and ladies? Davos? Why is he not also imprisoned for conspiring with Jon? They don't know that. They don't know that they didn't talk about it. All they know, all Grey Worm knows, that they're buddies. That should be everything for him needed. So then, what was the point of Jon? In general, what was the point of Jon? Like, why does he exist? Like, I didn't get it. What was the point of his whole parentage? Part of that same question. What's up with both the battles where Kirk's side won because of reasons? I mean, seriously, both battles. Like, they were just like Kirk's side on. Jaime's character turn, we talked about it. What was the point? Is Dario going to launch war against Six Kingdom for death of Dany? Is he? Or is he dead? Because slavers came back and took back their cities because Dragon Lady's gone. How fast word traveled around there? It's a question. And Grey Worm just accepted that these people who he had been trained to think are evil will honor their promises about Jon. So he can go off to have his vacation in the beach. Right? No, nothing. Why Night's Watch still exist? Who do they report to? If Sansa, why she doesn't end it and bring Jon home? What's up with that? Like, seriously. Also, is Bran evil? We never got that. Is he evil? He looked like he's evil. Because at the end, he was like, I'm going to find the dragon. Don't worry about it. Like, what's up with that? And where's Arya's horse? The horse that she was in the bells. What happened to that horse? What was the point of that horse? Why was she riding away? And then she was still there. What was the point? Did Bran tell Arya what's west of Westeros? Did he tell her? Is that why she's going?
There was a pun joke about it that was like, what's west of Westeros? The Resteros.
See? That's even better. Why no one ever mourns Rickon? Why? Do you remember Rickon Stark?
No.
No, see?
No one cared.
No, neither does Sansa or Arya. Arya never cares. Arya never cared for him. Our other kingdom will try to secede as well, following the North. What happened to religion? The septs, all those people, they're just all dead. What happened to them? Did they matter anymore? Are they going to come back? If they're gone, then what's the point of Sam being the Maestros? Like, what was the point of that? Aren't they supposed to be the keeper of religion? What is it? Is Ironbank going to collect? What's their thought on this war? Are they still around? Their golden company was obliterated. So are they going to come back, like, exacting revenge? Where is Drogon? That's a good question. Where is he? And why did he run away with Dany's body? What was the significance of it?
Fuck if I know.
I was so sure when Jon and the free people were outside, the gate closed, and then they turned, and it was Dany and Drogon just standing there. The new White Walkers. I was so sure that was going to happen. It didn't. And then, what did we actually achieve by not mentioning Tyrion in the in-universe A Song of Ice and Fire? What was the point of that joke?
It was a waste of time. Yes, no, that whole scene was a waste of time.
Like, what was the point? What was the point?
I don't know.
Anyway, so my 20 grievances. I'm so happy that I finally got to air them. But what was the point? And then, to that, what was the point of any of this? So would you recommend this to people? Like, if people who have never seen this, would you recommend them to pick this up?
I would still recommend it. I give a caveat just to be like, hey, it's all really good. Just be prepared for season 8 to be kind of kind of a bummer because there are so many shows that are really good that end horribly. Dexter, fantastic, ends horribly. I've never seen Lost. I heard that ends really dumb, but I heard it was a really good show. Like,
But the thing is, like, even that though, I feel like there were supporters for that. I do not know anyone who liked this. Like anyone
end
who
of
liked
this,
this.
I don't either. Well, no, I saw some people post it like, I thought it was great. I was like, okay.
Okay, you did? All right. Yeah. Because I don't know anyone who liked this. Like, so that's why, I don't know. For me, it's like I'm the kind of person, for me, journey and the destination matters. Like I need both to be perfect. From that point of view, it's not good. I'm not going to recommend anyone. Like, I'm not going to say like, okay, if you haven't already seen it, don't. Like, read the book. I would say read the book. Hopefully someday they will be finished. And I'm gonna tell them to watch like the last episode just to know how it ended. But I don't know. I'm just not. It felt really bad. I felt really upset by the fact that I was like, I understand it's a book, it's a comic, it's a TV show, blah blah blah. I understand that. My life doesn't revolve around him. But for that point, like for this point of view, I had expectation, and that was truly like just shattered.
Yeah.
Like I would recommend everyone to see Avatar: The Last Airbender, Korra, Legend of Korra, Dragon Prince. What you got? Like, what other things you got?
If I was gonna recommend something similar to this, I think Avatar and Legend of Korra are really good recommendations. Um, I would recommend playing a video game if you really want the same like
Video
fantasy,
game.
fantasy genre. I'd be like, well, I mean, to other people, if you want a similar story, but want something that is more satisfying. I think there's several video games that would give you that feeling that this doesn't, like The
Yeah.
Witcher, which maybe The Witcher show would do well. I don't know,
Witcher
but I
is
think
still coming out?
yeah, The Witcher has a Netflix show coming out, which is hopefully going to be good. Henry Cavill is going to
No.
play.
Why Henry Cavill? Oh yeah, that's a thing.
I don't know.
Oh my god, that's such a dumb face. I can't even.
He's not like I don't know.
Like he has like
He's too pretty. I don't know. Like I think that's a weird choice, but whatever. I'll watch it.
No, there's like a lot of other people that are super pretty. I have no problem. I love pretty people, but the thing is, like, there's something about him. I just don't connect him and Ben Affleck. And so imagine my soul
Yeah.
when I was watching Batman versus Superman. Stop! Oh, both of you. But anyway.
Well, I'm glad we finally got to talk about it.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm ever gonna talk about Game of Thrones ever again. After this, I'm done.
Yeah,
done.
I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
too beaten down. I don't want to. After we finish talking about this, I'm done. I don't want to think about it.
Which is a shame. This should have gone down in history as one of the best, and now it's going to be this. Oh well. Anyway, so before we get out of here, do you have a pick of the week?
Man, what did I read this week? Did I read Kiss number 8 this week, or was that last week?
You already chose it last week.
I don't know if I read anything this week. I've been really busy.
Oh, you've been really busy.
I'm gonna recommend an anime, I guess. Rise of the Shield Hero. If you want a different kind of fantasy feel, I recommend that. The kingdom is a matriarchy, so thumbs up.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, speaking of like, fantasy, but not necessarily kings and queen, but the fantasy of like vampire, I recommend American Vampire by Scott Snyder. I would really recommend everyone to read this because it has a lady protagonist.
Ooh, done.
Who is like awesome AF, and the male protagonist, Skinner Sweet, who is like so bad. Like he's so bad, but you can't help love him because he has that constant smirk, and you're like, ravish me, naughty boy.
Do you have the omnibus?
I don't have the omnibus. I had the HCs. So
okay.
But the thing is, the omnibus should be $58 now on instructrades.com because that's at 42% off. So you should be able to get that.
Nice.
My only concern about getting it, though, volume 2 hasn't been solicited, so I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, so where do people go to buy books?
InStockTrades.com.
Woohoo! Where you can get all your books, DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, Image, for up to 42% off. Free shipping over $50 in the United States. And next week, Saga Volume 3 Deluxe is coming out. So you should all go and get that because that is an awesome book. And hopefully once all three of us get it, we should do a review because that whole, because this is first half that's finished. So we need to talk about it. All right. Okay. So thank you for joining us.
We'll see you on Sunday. Bye.
Yeah. See you next Sunday.